So whenever I start an anime, it always takes me a little while to adjust and really get hooked into the series. There's always one specific moment or an episode that makes me feel some sort of way. A feeling that screams to me, oh, I really need to watch this anime. It's an event that gets me hooked to the show I'm watching for good, and I know that I'm not gonna have any regrets watching it. These moments for me include Nami's help me scene in One Piece, Naruto undergoing his first Nine Tails transformation, and other similar hooks in anime. Now this brings me to the question, what was my hook moment for Bleach? When did Bleach make me feel like I wasn't going to have any regrets watching it? When did the series make me a die-hard fan? And one thing about me is that I used to be a Bleach hater, so I came into the series with stubbornness and arrogance, so this scene needed to be so special that it could make a hater like me change sides. So before we get into it, please consider dropping a like, a sub, join the Discord, all that YouTuber stuff. That would be greatly appreciated. Now let's get into this video. So in order to understand my feelings for the episode that completely hooked me, I just want to give y'all some background on my feelings for the anime overall before this moment. And surprisingly, I actually enjoyed the first arc quite a bit. There was nothing that seemed extraordinary to me, but I definitely appreciated the arc as a whole as a nice introduction, and I thought it explained the rules of the Bleach world very well. And then we begin the first part of the Soul Society arc, and I was definitely enjoying it a lot, but there was still nothing that made me feel the immense hook that I'd been searching for. But this all changed on episode 39, Ichigo versus Kenpachi. More specifically, this was the episode where we see Kenpachi walk back menacingly after stabbing Ichigo and breaking Zangetsu. And then the old man pauses time and makes a cool ass entrance. He asks Ichigo, do you want to fight? Do you want to win, or do you want to live? And Ichigo responds saying nothing but winning matters. So the old man takes Ichigo into his inner world, and I just want to talk about how much I love Ichigo's inner world. This is the second time we see it in the show since Ichigo first met the old man. And the sideways skyscrapers, the beautiful sky, the flooding, I love it so much. And I've always wanted to learn more about the old man. So this episode had my eyes wide open searching for answers. And this is when we meet my favorite inner demon in anime, White. And it's not even close in my opinion. My first time seeing him, he gave me mystery, he gave me presence, and he gave me a sick design. And the old man has White fight Ichigo. And one thing that I appreciated while watching this was the poetry of Bleach fights. I always love seeing these inner conflict episodes, and the whole lesson with Ichigo learning that he's just like Kenpachi since he never tried to understand Zangetsu's true feelings and just used him as a tool. And what made this episode even better when I was first watching it was this ominous feeling that I was getting throughout Ichigo's whole interaction from White and Zangetsu. Even though on paper it was obvious that the old man was helping Ichigo train, I always felt like he was hiding a lot more. I had a ton of questions about White. I was debating if he was Ichigo's hollow side or not, and if he was, what would that mean to the story going forward? My mind was just a mess, and all the thinking had me so much more engaged in the plot. I genuinely was more interested in this subplot than the whole Aizen murder, and I love the Aizen murder. I was thinking about it all the time, so it really shows how much I love this scene. And to top all of this off, when Ichigo gains the ability to fight with Zangetsu again and goes off to fight Kenpachi, the interaction that the old man and White have after this moment had me thinking crazy. The first thing I noticed was how White's personality seemed to have changed right after Ichigo left. He acted all crazy and bloodthirsty when Ichigo was there, but now he seemed so calm and gentle, and he was even really polite. So this immediately got me wondering if White isn't just Ichigo's dark side, and that there might actually be more individuality to his character. And he even starts talking about how Ichigo is the king of this world and how the old man needs to nurture him well. And I also found it interesting how he has to ask Zangetsu if he can go back, and immediately I thought, go back where? And I was wondering if Zangetsu was White's master or something. Like, I just didn't know. This whole interaction was so crazy to me, and after all of that, he drops the final bomb on me saying how all of Ichigo's power is going to be his someday. So now I have to pause the episode and debate whether this dude is actually good or not, and if if the old man is our enemy or ally. This whole thing seems so bipolar because it seemed like they were helping Ichigo train and understand himself, but on the other hand, it seemed like they were letting him get powerful just so they could steal all of his power in the future. And then it got even crazier because of the Rain speech, because now Zangetsu was talking about how he just needs Ichigo to trust him and that they'll always fight together. So now it got me thinking whether the old man and White were enemies and so much more. My mind was in complete shambles, and the soundtrack, Nothing Can Be Explained, happening in the background made this moment even more eerie and mysterious. Man, I really just cannot emphasize how much this whole scene made me think and pause and debate, and this is why I got so hooked to Bleach. There was just so much I needed to know, and I just knew that I had to stick around to get the answers. And watching this back after I've completed the series, I can just say that it was completely worth it. So the highlight of this episode for me was definitely everything with Ichigo and White and the old man. That whole sequence was pure gold. Like, I don't even think I blinked during it. But I also really want to take a second and show some love to the amazing fight that happened at the same time, because even though my brain was getting cooked trying to process the inner world stuff, my heart was racing watching Ichigo and Kenpachi go head to head. The sheer madness of Kenny is something else entirely. This man lives for the fight. It's like every swing of his sword is a love letter to chaos, and he doesn't even care if he wins or loses. As long as he's having fun, he's fulfilled. And then we learned that he was holding back the entire time. Like, what? He really said, I'm too strong, so let me nerf myself by wearing an eye patch that eats my spiritual pressure. You just cannot make this shit up. That's just so absurd. But it's such a cool concept, and it really reminded me of Rock Lee versus Gaara. And only Bleach could pull it off and make it feel this raw. And I love how Ichigo, despite being outmatched in every possible way, skill, experience, strength, still, he just never gives up. That's something I always respected about his character. He's stubborn as hell. He doesn't care if he's bleeding out on the floor or if his sword's broken or if he's technically already lost. As long as he's breathing, he's gonna stand up and keep swinging. And this fight really shows that off to the max. It's not even about beating Kenpachi at this point. It's about proving that he deserves to be in the world and that he's just not a temporary visitor in the Soul Society, that he belongs there just as much as any captain or Shinigami, and he has to win to save Rukia. And what really elevates this whole moment for me is how all the mysterious inner world stuff ties directly back into the fight. This wasn't just training for Ichigo, this was a full-blown awakening. He had to look himself in the eye, confront his doubts, face the terrifying parts of his own soul, and then come back swinging. It's not just about a power-up, it's a transformation of his mindset. When he finally stands tall with Zangetsu in his hand, ready to give his all against Kenpachi, it's like everything finally clicks. Ichigo isn't just using Zangetsu anymore, he's fighting with him. It's mutual now, and that just adds so much more emotional weight to the final clash with Kenpachi. And the way they animated it too, the clashing blows, the tension, the soundtrack, the way both of them are clearly exhausted but just grinning like maniacs. It's just peak anime. It's raw, gritty, and poetic all at once. You can tell that they both respect the hell out of each other by the end. No words needed, just two warriors throwing hands until their bodies give out. And when the dust settles and the episode ends, I just sat there staring at the screen, mouth open, brain fried, fully converted into a Bleach believer. That was the moment I knew I was in for this long haul. So yeah, that was everything I wanted to yap about. I'm so glad I watched this series, bro. It was totally worth it. So yeah, guys, hope y'all have a wonderful day. Stay blessed, and until next time.